back to the AlphaMind YouTube channel, where we bring you insights from the leading minds in the Web3 space. And today we have a very special guest, someone who has been shaping the future of blockchain technology for years already. It's an absolute honor for me to have our dear partner, advisor at AlphaMind, and at the same time, CEO at Metis Protocol Layer 2, Tom Ngo here. Hi, Tom.
Hello, Nelly. Thanks for having me. It's always exciting to be speaking with you, be in the same conversation with you. So happy to be here.
Likewise, Tom. So grateful that you joined us right after getting back from long business trip. And for everyone who is watching us today, I want to remind that Tom is a seasoned entrepreneur who has been in the game, you can't imagine, since he was 16 years old, and growing from that into a strategic executive with deep expertise in DeFi, blockchain, market analysis, and of course, scaling team for exponential growth. And as the executive leader for Metis Layer 2, of course, everyone knows Metis and we observe its development for years already. Very happy with its unicorn approach. Tom is also driving some of the most critical innovations in Web3. So guys, get ready because this interview will be packed with a lot of knowledge, insights, and expertise from Tom, who is bringing it on your table for your wisdom and better secure the journey in Web3. So Tom, let's kick off right away.
Amazing, let's do it, and thank you for the kind words.
Thank you for being with us. And as I promised, we collected some questions from the community of AlphaMind, those, crypto enthusiasts, retail users who do not have a privilege to know you personally and have calls with you. So I'm super excited that we can bring your wisdom and your knowledge to them today. And one of the very, very often asked questions was about DeFi. And I also participate in some DeFi protocols, DeFi mechanics, and many projects have pretty high APIs, but to be honest, I'm not sure where these APIs come from. And we know that some market participants also are not aware about these sustainability concerns. I mean, some DeFi projects, they can literally print some tokens to fuel their API, to show these big, beautiful, sexy numbers and reward structures, but it can lead to inflation later on and decline in token value. So can you please explain us where usually DeFi yields come from, and what is even more important, how retail community can avoid unsustainable projects or hidden risks in DeFi?
Yeah, so absolutely. I think DeFi has really matured over the years. It kicked off with, perceived value of where this protocol is and rewarding the project's token as a way to incentivize, create engagement. How people value these tokens and the utility within the project, it varies from project to project. Some it's like a pseudo token representation of the protocol. Some has utility within the protocol, but I think as the market has matured quite nicely, some of these DeFi protocols are actually gaining value from the protocol itself through fees, through transaction. Of course, none of this is financial advice, but to educate the public, it's good to know how these tokens are valued. There's a lot of great resources. One is Token Terminal. You can see different dApps and their fees. And then you can compare it to how the token is perceived on the market and how it correlates. So as a retail maybe participant, it's good to understand what is real fees from the protocol. Is it converting into the token itself? And I think there's a shift in where so many projects were utilizing tokens to bootstrap their protocol, drive transaction, engaged users, but now it's to a point where it has enough time and it's matured where the market and the retail users are getting more, I would say, educated, where they see true value, as in like some of the protocols that actually generate real business value, real fees, real sustainability. Because a lot of these dApps, when they bootstrap, they use the token to fund their team, marketing, engagement as well. So I think for the best maybe suggestion or guidance I could share with people who are new to the industry is understand fee model, business model from these dApps. Use Token Terminal, Nansen, some of these great protocols can give you some deeper insight and help kick things off for your journey into the space.
That's really cool, and you even gave us some tools. When I did my first DeFi journey, I did not know about Token Terminal, and I always thought that Nansen is more like for institutionals and not for retail community. So we will definitely find links and include them in the description of the video, so it would be more handy for a retail community to find them.
Amazing.
And to continue a topic of DeFi, in addition to different liquidity pools, etc., there are plenty of staking, farming, lending solutions, and many people do not understand all the risks involved there. I mean, not only direct risks of hacking smart contracts, but others that may occur. So can you please help us to understand the real risks involved in these strategies and how we can evaluate opportunities while avoiding fraudulent schemes or scams?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things with the DeFi space is you have self-custody of your own wallet. And how you interact is basically you. Nobody can recover your keys. Nobody can recover your funds. This is part of decentralization, self-sovereignty, just being in this space. So if a user, I would say, if I was getting into the space for the first time, and if somebody was sharing with me some knowledge, I would say learning how to interact with the wallet and also validating the dApps you are working with. The best way would be going to the foundational website, say, I'll give you an example, metis.io, and looking at the ecosystem projects that have been kind of endorsed or validated through the website, and then checking their social as well, making sure they're correlated. That's the only thing with DeFi, right? It's not an ecosystem that's built on a platform, say like Apple or Google Store. This is one of the trade-offs. You have to kind of validate it a few more steps. So validate that, and interacting with these dApps doesn't say it's risk-free because everything operates on a smart contract level. There's bridging, there's smart contract interaction. I think in this space, smart contracts are audited, but they're not foolproof. You can see that with some of the major, biggest protocols with the biggest auditors, but yet they're still not foolproof. So I would always say precautionary steps, always interact with products that you're familiar with, and also understand the full risk. Even though they're audited, they're not foolproof. Any kind of interaction, even checking your wallet history, there's a lot of phishing scams. So always validate the contracts as well, not just 4 digits, not 5 digits. I would do 6 in the beginning, 6 at the end, to spend that extra time, because in this space, that's one of the, I would say, trade-off is the risk of not being able to recover your funds and no centralized authority to really recover or support you there. Everything is in your control and how you interact with the space and the dApps.
And I also love what you said about even having best auditors does not protect you 100%. So yeah, guys, recently MetaMask also included some special measures for scam detection, etc. But it does not as well protect you fully. So always be very cautious and mindful when you select with which app to interact. So don't forget, it's your responsibility. Nobody can protect your funds better than you by yourself. Thanks so much, Tom, for highlighting this. And I have another good question. You mentioned Metis Layer 2, which is your co-baby with the founding team. I know that Metis was the first protocol who introduced decentralized sequencer, fully decentralized. And even your internal operations are very much decentralized, as per my experience. So my question is, for the average market participant, everyone knows that, well, from the last bull season, there was the time of layer 2s. And right now, layer 2s develop even more. Players like Metis hit huge adoption, huge valuation, etc. But what are the tangible benefits of using layer 2 solutions like Metis in 2024 over traditional Ethereum transactions, especially considering that just a couple of years back, it was obvious because the gas price was so different. I mean, it just uncomparable. Nobody wanted to use a Ethereum transaction because of high gas fees. But after Dankun upgrade, it became more or less, okay, not identical, but comparable. And yeah, here I want to hear from your side as expert in L2s.
Yeah, from the L2 side, L2 was created and incepted to really scale Ethereum. Now with Ethereum costs lower, L2 costs has also lowered as well. But are they low enough? I would say there's a lot of room for still improvement. Why? Because if we're looking to bring games on chain, you know, these are like games where it should be very minimal or almost feels obsolete because every transaction on chain is a cost. And for a player to have ongoing costs, just from a infrastructure, just connectivity, it's not a modern way to what people are used to, right? You play your game, you don't count the kilobytes that are being downloaded into the game. But I think for L2 in 2024, what makes it different from the year before, it's about creating accessibility and unique application for projects as well, and onboarding. In emerging market, 1 cent, half a cent can add up to be quite a bit for these countries. So if we want mass adoption, not for just developed countries, but also worldwide, I think fees have to be extremely low. Now we're hearing about layer 3 as a solution, just because there are demands for certain games, certain interaction that requires these even lower fees than Ethereum, where there are now even low as L2s. One exciting, and I'll also share here, is we have DeFi Kingdom, and they utilize a lot of transaction. So the lower fees made it possible for them to onboard into our ecosystem. So in terms of where L2 stands, I think there's a lot of solution of L2s. Some will be targeted focused or app focused chains. Some are general purpose chains. Some are just general, as in a way where they're still kind of finding their niche. But at the end of the day, what also matters is the different economic models that are built within this chain, and where you're looking how you're looking to interact with the chain. Either you're looking to be part of the community, either you're just accessing application that is directly on the chain due to exclusivity. I think it has different approach. So one, either you believe in the team, believe in the chain, and you want to get involved with the community, or two, you're just there for a certain application. So from a layer 2, I think it's still an evolving sector. Last year there was about 13 billion in TVL in total in 2023. In 2024, I hit about close to 45 billion in TVL. And so what we can expect in 2025, how much liquidity, how much interaction will be on layer 2, you could just look at the numbers and project that.
And by the way, you are correct also about that the price difference still remains an issue, because even today in the morning I did some operational transactions on Metis, and then in the afternoon I had to do some transactions on Ethereum. And even though it's not $200 per transaction as it was a couple of years back, but still compared to Metis, which was like a few cents literally a few cents gas fee. And on Ethereum, it was like $3. So when you do a number of transactions per day, it matters actually. 1 plus 1 plus 1, and then you end up in wasting dozens of extra dollars for nothing, just because you are doing it on Ethereum.
Yeah, just to add on to that, we as a foundation, blockchain or any kind of foundation blockchain out there, it's like we want to bring this tech to the mass, to companies, to TradeFi, but these little price difference really matters in the long run and how you scale. And if you're doing $3 a transaction, $2 a transaction, that's like an Uber ride in Asia. That's a meal for a family, like in an emerging market. And that's just one transaction. So in terms of scalability, L2 provides that solution. And I think there's still a lot of improvements to be had to make it even more adaptable to supply chain management, to traditional businesses as a whole.
That's true. I know that founders and chief executive officers of layer 2s don't like usually to talk about airdrops. But this is a question that bothers a lot of people in this space, because originally, since the beginning of this year, or even from 23 and earlier, airdrops have been always a method to attract a lot of new users to different crypto projects and protocols. But let's confess that this year there were quite a number of concerns regarding airdrops utilized by huge projects and including layer 2s. Airdrops became smaller per person, more difficult to qualify. All this anti-Sibyl filtering became unfair sometimes because they ignore multi-accountants and farmers, but sometimes geek out true community believers and crypto enthusiasts. So my question is, how do you see airdrops evolving in this space, and what should market participants, retail community members consider when engaging with projects that rely pretty heavily on airdrops?
Yeah, so airdrop has really evolved. I think, Arbitrum and some of these bigger networks that really kicked this off and really created this trend, set a standard. But due to the fact that entities, retail users are getting sophisticated, you're getting farms, bot farms, airdrop teams that are setting up teams to specifically target airdrop opportunities. So with opportunities and being in the space, there's always an expectation. And there is no kind of limit on like a protocol saying, hey, this is what you can see as your cap. Everything is all speculation, which also drives this industry as a whole. Usually we feed off speculation in terms of what we can expect and value. And I think you hear the great stories, but you also don't hear about so many of the bad stories. So the expectation is, I'm gonna retire off this airdrop if I can do multiple wallets. I am extremely doing well for the rest of the year, the rest of my life. So I think with that expectation, you always get disappointed if the expectation is too high. If you're seeing people getting airdrop maximum value, or they did maximum extraction, or they found a loophole, then you hear these stories and you look at your airdrop and you become disappointed, no matter what amount it is. I think projects are getting more sophisticated because they know these airdrop users doesn't really convert into retention. Mm-hmm. So now projects have to rethink on the spend, how much spend on the marketing side, conversion and engagement side are we willing to spend? Because there's always a cost. Mm-hmm. There's always a cost to all these airdrops. How do we move forward? It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be maybe target specific to certain wallets with certain behaviors that can be refined. I know a lot of projects are working with third parties to refine their audience that they want to engage, like somebody that's actually a real DeFi user that is actually moving assets within the protocol and interacting with longevity, more so somebody that's just transacting to earn points. And it's up to the project as well. From a kind of my experience, what I'm seeing is how they allocate these rewards to these users. So I think the industry is still evolving. It's being diluted a bit because everybody's doing airdrop. Now you're also seeing social dApps that are also doing airdrop through kind of mini apps as well, through Telegram or through interaction through Telegram with their chain. So and that movement is actually slowing down quite a bit because this industry moves really fast. So in terms of what we can expect, I think if you're an airdrop hunter or you're looking to interact with a project that's an airdrop, just expect a bonus, right? This is just being part of to engage in the product. First thing is you gotta enjoy the product. This is kind of within kind of your interest level. Then the expectation will be subsided. You will never get disappointed. It's just an extra bonus.
And it would be very unfair if I do not ask if Metis, after having some airdrop seasons already, do you plan some new airdrop seasons this year?
Yes, we do still see value in this engagement kind of mechanic. So in terms of what's launching, we're still activating our audience. We're still activating the projects within the ecosystem. So yes, we are still supporting this engagement as we see it's a great way to incentivize new users into certain protocols.
Okay, guys, so you heard this, and follow Tom and Metis Layer 2 on X and other socials, and we will definitely also as partners inform you when some huge announcement is happening and there is another potential to get engaged in new programs from Metis. And by the way, since we are talking here about retail community, there is another important question: how to evaluate early stage projects on launchpads? Because launchpads provide market participants early access to new high potential projects, and evaluating them carefully is very crucial. However, just as you said about airdrop engagement, etc., nowadays, I should confess, it's pretty harsh to evaluate project because, for example, if a year ago you were evaluating gamify startup and the startup was declaring that they have, let's say, 10,000 DAO, daily active users, you were saying, wow, that's great engagement. But right now you are like, okay, how do you get these metrics? And in 99% of cases, it's just another airdrop quest where they have daily activity, like daily login, open mystery box, etc., right? So all these vanity metrics make very harsh to evaluate projects. So my question is, do you have some advice for retail community how they can identify projects with true potential versus those hyped for short-term gains?
One of the things that I would probably recommend is like AlphaMind, right? Launching and vetting project. Understand what the focus of the launchpad is focused on, what kind of value they're looking to deliver. And you know, I've been having a pleasure to kind of connect with you, Nelly, and spoke to you throughout the years, and your focus and the caliber of projects and the way you want to deliver value to the retail audience, it aligns with like true intention. Some launchpads don't operate the same way. I would say there's only a handful. So one thing is also know the team, what kind of projects they're focusing on. One of the things that it's hard to measure is kind of the moat of a project. And the key aspect that is hard to measure is maybe a lot of these social engagement, a lot of these metrics can be gamified through transactions on chain, or even on the social side. The Telegram bot, the mini dApps have really inflated a lot of these numbers where from the metric level, it's hard to measure. So what do you do as a retail users? As guidance or suggestion, but never financial advice, of course, is to look at the where the project is, who's backing it, who's supporting it, and also follow the social side. If it's a social mini dApp, then maybe those numbers are worth a 5 value instead of a 10 value in your valuation. If it's like a DeFi dApp, but not really focused on the social side, but their engagement is extremely high, maybe you put a higher value in your evaluation and say, hey, this the social engagement is worth 8 points. Then you use that to measure, right, each sector, and then you can compare it with other protocols to kind of get an average within that sector. It's a little bit more in depth, but from a strategic point of view on on-chain interaction, a lot of things can be manipulated. But if you want to make things easy, work with teams and projects that are vetting some of these projects ahead of time. You have the board of expertise that's really reducing a lot of the research side and presenting like, hey, these are kind of the things that we're looking at. Now you do your own research to see what really radiates with you, and then you participate as you see which value streams or which value air sectors you really like to enjoy and interact with.
That's a cool advice, and sounds like you have a very complex internal scoring system, like real analyst. And I forgot to tell you guys that Tom is not only market professional, as I described you at the beginning, but he's also investor himself, as I think everyone in crypto, right? Tom, I know you're running out of time. Can I have one last question?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, we know that narratives is pretty hot topic in crypto, and a lot of QLs, influencers are talking about narratives, making retail community bullish about this or that project. But in your personal hot list, which verticals and narratives are you focused on for potential growth for 2024?
Yes, for me, just being in the blockchain space, I think having real business kind of structure for any project is key. I think the payment sector is great because, you know, that's kind of number one use for the blockchain itself. I'm really excited about gaming. It's been a lot of seasons and years of like talking about gaming will really take off. I think we're getting closer. Gaming is extremely exciting. DeFi is also another sector. Sorry, I'm listing more than one because there's great development in all sectors. DeFi is great because you're seeing a lot of traditional finance, and you see that with the news, where they're utilizing TradeFi products, tokenizing it, bringing these value that they're accruing from yield products on chain, and making it accessible for people around the world where it wasn't before. So with those three kind of sectors, I think just the overall blockchain space is extremely exciting. But I would say gaming is still an exciting part, but the only challenge with gaming is these games have to figure out how to be sustainable. The traditional TradeFi, DeFi protocols is more sustainable. So depending on what you're looking at, that would be my suggestion.
And as my friends gamers always complain, that crypto or Web3 games should be fun to play and not just play to earn or something like this, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Tom, thank you so much. You definitely, with all your wisdom and knowledge, you deserve as much shine and interview time as possible. So I hope we can repeat this and bring more questions next time. But today, thank you so much. You are the hero of the day. And guys, we will provide the links to Tom's X account, Twitter, and of course, Metis socials. So go subscribe and follow him for more advice. Thank you, Tom, and have a wonderful day.
Likewise. Thanks, Nelly.
Guys, hit the subscribe button, put like, and stay tuned until the end of this interview, because you definitely do not want to miss these pieces of valuable advice from Tom Ngo, one of the brightest minds in Web3.